And no.
As we bring in everybody, what's good, everybody?
And our great guy, my brother.
To my left,
Kevin.
Yeah, man.
Freaking
Rollins.
I am a visionary. I am a revolutionary.
Welcome to Saturday afternoon Kevin Lytics.
Oh no, I'm saving that for football.
Oh no, we're gonna have some Kevin Lytics today because we got some NBA action we need to chop it up about.
Well, yeah, we can't throw some in there.
It is Game 7, NBA Finals.
The best 2 words in sports history.
And we don't get. Do we? When the last time we had a Game 7 in NBA Finals?
LeBron.
2016. LeBron against the Warriors in 2016.
Ain't nobody come see you play Otis.
And remember the chase down block?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And Kyrie just showing off in front of Steph.
He had to get back from the shattered kneecap.
I believe that we had this discussion on the way home from Kickback Jacks.
Yes, we did. We actually mentioned it on the way to KBJ's too.
And of course, I'm the guy that like to stir the pot sometimes.
Sometimes.
I said Kyrie's shot was more memorable than the chase down block.
Well,
because of
you can argue that point.
Because who he hit that shot on, and the fashion and the way that he did it to win that game.
But the only thing is if the chase down block
if you don't have the chase down block, you don't have that shot.
Nope.
That's what I'm kind of hung up on. Like you can't have one
without the other.
Yeah, but if I could have one without the other, it would be Kyrie.
Oh, Kyrie nailed the shot. Of course, I mean you got to put the ball in the hole. No, did but you gotta.
No, baby or needy, please. Yeah. Oh, jeez. But no.
Yeah, it looks like he ain't gonna be scoring for a while.
All right, well.
I'm sorry. I'm throwing a Diddy joke every time I get a chance to because that man ruined my childhood, my young adulthood.
Wow.
What did he do?
You know, I mean,
what did he do to you?
No, it ain't what he did to me. It's what he did to everybody else. I mean,
I'm weak.
I mean, you gotta think about this. When we back, late 90s, 2000s, you know. From Biggie on to wherever, he was a mogul. He had hip hop on lock.
Yeah.
I mean, there was others that did their thing, but everybody from their respective regions gravitated towards their regions, and Diddy was the man.
Did he have hip hop on lock? Well, he did have. What did he have? Industry hip hoppers on lock.
Well, he on trial now for having hips on lock.
Nigga paying a nigga to be my tickler.
Take that.
You're gonna, I give you 50,000 to be the fluffer at the party.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Mm-mm.
But he had us do.
And he didn't lie about being a bad boy.
No, he didn't.
Oh, he took that to a whole nother level on that.
A whole nother level.
Got
now we looking at the whole industry different. I don't even want to be famous no more. I don't, because you're subject to stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm good. I'm working my little service repair technician job.
What happened with Kendrick Perkins' wife and Richard Jefferson the other night?
What about
What you talking about, Willis?
You must know something we don't know.
Kendrick Perkins' wife was very flirtatious with Richard Jefferson when she was on the show, when she was on NBA camp on the after the game ended.
Oh, she was percolating.
I think she was Jefferson lady.
Mm.
And Kendrick got mad.
Oh no.
Okay.
Well, watch out there.
I was about to say, this is some brand new. I didn't see that one.
You don't want to fight somebody that got a middle school education.
You know, and someone that's 6 foot everything, closer to 300. You want to stay away from 300 pounders.
Somebody said that Kendrick Perkins was a great player because he had a ring.
You know, I wouldn't say he's a great player. He was an all right player. I don't want to throw the word great out there. You know, throwing the word great out there.
I wouldn't throw the word all right out there neither.
I gotta give him an all right. I mean, he's not winning me no basketball games.
I give him,
but he's not going.
So you saying he's garbage?
I'm not blaming him for any losses either.
Yeah.
He was a contributor. He was a role player.
No, he's a little bit past garbage. He's dumpster.
And he served a purpose for a little while. So I'm not going to totally throw him.
He was here for a good time.
Yeah,
not a long time.
No, he was okay. He was okay. I'm not. You can call him. That's your prerogative. You want to call him trash? That's it. I'm not taking that far with the
he was in OKC.
He was the okay in OKC. He was okay. He was okay. And I'm not designing no plays for him. Okay. I'm not trading 4 first round draft picks for the guy. Okay.
We're not giving 4 picks away. Unprotected picks. I'm
sorry to say, if somebody did that when he was playing, they knew about fentanyl before it hit the streets.
I can agree with that, but I'm not going to just totally dismiss the guy and say he trashed in there. No.
He barely averaged 1 point in his NBA career.
I mean, but he's not on my team to score the basket. He's on my team to play defense, to clog the hole.
Well, that's the only thing that he did do.
That's it. He has one job. Now, to bring this home, Miles Turner on the other night only had one job. I know he only scored 3 points, but I say he had a very good game. Why? Because he was in Chet Holmgren's chest finally. And when you get in Chet Holmgren's chest, he can't score the basket.
Well, Chet Holmgren ain't got a chest for you to get into.
Yeah, he do. Miles Turner got. It's wrapped around Miles Turner's shoulder, where it need to be. But like I said, he had a good game because he had one job: nullify Chet Holmgren.
Hey man.
But how are you 7 feet and missing dunks? Explain that.
Because Miles Turner had a shoulder in his chest.
Things happen.
Certain things are unexcusable.
And that's
one of
them.
Hey,
look, he ain't the first 7-footer to miss a dunk.
No. But when you in a stage where you can close out, you are ahead 3 games to 2. You got one job. You got to finish them off. Once you give them life, come on.
They didn't give them life. Indiana was already came into that game with all the life they needed.
And not only that,
but
if you also notice, OKC, they basically exposed them for, their maturity. They looked immature.
Did anybody pay attention to how uncomfortable OKC defense was with
of course
Halliburton playing off the ball with TJ running the 1? They didn't know what to do with themselves on the defensive end when Halliburton was running around playing the 2 guard.
So now remember, he was coming in with not even 100%.
Yeah,
and another thing,
he got that Grant Hill shot.
And another thing they did that I liked what Indiana did, they made sure there was 3 people in the backcourt to when to bring the ball up.
Mm-hmm.
So that way they can't run that trap. They can't trap in the back. They got away from it real quick. They got away from that full court press real quick. And that really preserved Tyrese Halliburton. Because by them, picking him up at half court instead of 94 feet when they was really being aggressive with it, that's when they caused all their turnovers. Now that they picking them up when they get across half court, now you allowing them, these Nembhard to advance the ball, set the offense up, and that's less strain that Halliburton has to do because he ain't getting in the paint. Y'all noticed that he didn't get in the paint.
Who?
Halliburton?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did in the first half.
Not starting the offense. I mean, he probably chased down some rebounds and things of that nature. He was scrappy on the defensive end.
No, he attacked the basket a couple of times on the offensive end.
That's on the defensive end. Well, on the offense, he started off. He didn't. How can I say this? He picked his spots.
Yeah. Can
we agree with that? He picked his spots. I didn't see it that way, but obviously you see it that way. So let's come to a resolution on that.
Yeah. Okay. We can.
Only because you're rolling up, but that's
yeah.
You can. Don't yeah, everybody ain't got to know, but everybody got to know.
Do I have to change my? Do I have to go to my Kevin voice?
In your words,
just throw away all the damn on calls. Just throw it all away. I told you, it's a broken system. It never works. He should just throw it all away.
What system ain't broken? If it ain't broken, it ain't a system.
In your words, Robar, don't you dare.
Yeah. Don't you dare.
Don't do that. No. Don't do that. No. Don't do that. Don't you dare. No, don't you dare pick OKC now.
Who?
Nah, that's what you would say.
Oh yeah.
You've been on the bandwagon this far. This long, no.
You can't be doing that no more.
Ride it out.
Ride it to the end. No, don't switch up now.
Oh boy.
Let me see the wheels fall off.
Ride it till the wheels fall off. No. We not doing that here.
Oh Jesus.
We are not doing no crossovers.
Yeah. Yeah.
We ain't doing no crossovers here.
No.
Oh
well.
Well, I have something to share with you guys. I did the crossover, y'all ain't catch it. Remember I said at least about almost a month ago when the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference Finals was going on, and I was like, if OKC get to the finals, there's nobody that can beat them.
Yeah, we all said that.
Mm-hmm. Then now I'm rooting for Indiana.
And when the facts change, the analytics change.
Yeah.
And even the Kevinlytics. He tried that crossover too. I caught Kevin's, but yeah, I ain't catch yours.
Yeah, I was smooth with it.
I was like, no, y'all. And honestly, I did it first. Because I been had OKC in the finals. Because just off of the numbers, just by the numbers alone. But when you see it in the eye test, you can't, it's hard to put stock in OKC in the game 7. Indiana has proven they can win tough games. They can win a series of tough games.
Mind you, OKC's favored by 8.5 going into tomorrow. But that's just on paper.
Yeah, but the way if Indiana comes out aggressive like they did in game 6, then OKC has proved they don't have that answer.
Now, to bring that point home,
they better find the third score.
The last 3 occurrences that a team that was trailing 3-2 and 1 has won game 7. The last time was doing it was Cleveland. Then 3 years before that, in 2013, was Miami Heat. The Ray Allen shot, remember?
Yep.
And that's one everybody remembers. That versus
the
LeBron.
most
Bang! Yeah. The famous Mike Breen call. And in 2010 was the Lakers. So Indiana can win it tomorrow. if they do the same thing we saw on Thursday night, you know, that all the facts y'all just put out, you bring 3 people, and again, my favorite Romar strategy, make them uncomfortable. You get SGA uncomfortable, you got to make Jalen Williams beat you. And I don't think he's got that.
He ain't got enough to beat him.
And now he'll get you through maybe 2 games.
Even though y'all was calling for him to go for another 40.
Well, see, the thing about it is, if you notice too, I think the Nuggets exposed them in a way, because even though the Nuggets didn't win, they put them to the limit. Because remember, OKC had an easier path than Indiana did. Because I mean, now the Nuggets gave them the hardest test up to that point when they went to 7 games, because in the first round, OKC swept Memphis.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes, then of course, you figure rest versus rust. Too much rest.
Rest ain't always.
It ain't always a good thing, as you think it is. Because remember, the Nuggets stole the first one too in OKC.
Look at Tyrese Halliburton get beat up in the UFC.
Yeah.
That is not Tyrese Halliburton.
No.
Not like you look like him.
But again,
Can't tear me down.
you gotta if you make SGA uncomfortable, you gotta force other people to beat you.
But look, did you see how they was perfectly sending a delayed double team?
They won't showing it to him. They'll let him get this side to working on whatever move that he want to make.
Attack.
And that's what they did. They made him uncomfortable the whole night.
And how many turnovers did they produce out of that?
A lot.
Yeah.
8. 8 turnovers by SGA, the most in his career. And SGA owned it up at the press conference. He said, "Man, we just sucked tonight. We got 1 game to prove everything."
Look at Uncle Festus' son.
So you got 1 game for all the marbles.
1 game for all the marbles. I don't like
I'm just happy that it's
that for him. Now, like we said on the way here, Indiana's going to make their adjustments to utilize their bench a little bit more, because clearly they have the better bench in this series. Their bench is clearly having to, when they show up, I mean, when they get it going, that's enough to carry them through. So I want to see more TJ McConnell. I don't want him starting. I want to see more Obi Toppin, but I don't want him starting. Once those two, it seems like TJ is a spark for that bench. But Obi's like the heart of that bench. You see how electric they get when those 2 guys score the basket?
Yep.
It's infectious. So now I don't want to affect it. I don't want, to disrupt the flow, but I do need a little bit. I do need those guys maybe 2-3 more minutes.
And speaking of which, Mel, I'm glad you brought that part up. Now, going into the finals on OKC side, everything was they got away from what was working for them the entire season. You change your lineup in the first game. All right. So,
yep.
and that what I think started the exposure.
Yeah. You
know what I'm saying? And that's the one part most people don't talk about. But one of y'all brought it up from the beginning. And now the main question is, this is one of the first things we see before the tip-off even starts. Who are you going to bring to the? And then what got me in the third quarter, why did you bring out a bigger lineup and start out the third quarter? Notice they went scoreless for about 5 minutes.
Well, in the fourth quarter, you want to start. You want to.
No. This is starting the second half. This is in the third quarter. They didn't score anything. Neither team really did. on game 6. So, and then like they didn't show no emotion. There was no effort. You could tell when Indiana punched them in the mouth. And
they part of them still in OKC. They have half the team didn't make the point. Like the Oklahoma City made it to Indiana, but the Thunder didn't.
Well, I think the trophy took an earlier flight too. After halftime.
Yeah, because the trophy was in the house.
Yeah, the trophy was there. It was theirs to take. But after like the second quarter where everything just unraveled, and with that slam, which was probably like the best play of the entire playoffs, when Siakam bodied Jalen Williams on that play. Oh, and if you heard the call in Portuguese, that was epic. I mean, it was insane because they played on Get Up yesterday all morning long. It was great. I mean, that one play would have made you lose your mind. By that slam. I mean, Siakam put him on a poster. You get
he did.
You get posterized.
That was nasty.
How you gonna respond to that?
Well, that was what was nasty? It was the dunk or the no-look pass before that.
The pass.
Well, the pass set it up.
Just like Showtime.
Oh man.
And it was a show. It was a show for the stars. I mean, everybody that played for the Pacers was in the house.
I think about several people. I want to say 6 to 8 people was already double figures by that point.
I mean, Jalen Rose was in there. Reggie Miller was
Reggie
in
Miller.
there.
Lance Stevenson was there.
Lance Stevenson. Metal World Peace was there. Rick Smits was there. Travis Best was there.
It was a lot. It was something.
Was Devin Shrimp? Yeah, Devin Shrimp.
That Shrimp was there too. They mentioned him.
Yeah, the Pacers great. The Pacers royalty. It sounds funny to say, bro. The Pacers royalty was in the house.
Hey, you bring out the best in them or whatever. This is the first they got since 2000. So they had to make it count, and they did. They went in there. And like I said, and also in Wilmar's words, they were battle tested. Because if you think about it, Indiana had to run through the gauntlet. They had a much rougher road to take versus OKC. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
First round, Milwaukee. You beat a generational talent with Giannis. Sorry.
I mean, he didn't have Dame. So are you saying that OKC had the easier road or Indiana?
Or easier or no, Indiana had the harder road to me.
Okay, help me out with that one because
because
Milwaukee didn't have Dame.
Well, but you still had Giannis. Giannis is still a freak of nature.
Yeah, but they eliminated them last year also. So that's a team that they was used to.
Well, yeah, but then also keep in mind they were a 4 seed, right?
Yeah.
So then again, they were kind of sort of favorite in the first round, but then following that, you beat the number 1 team in 5 games in Cleveland. Yeah. Donovan. Now you might say Donovan Mitchell. I get it. I understand. You have your reservations with him. Darius Garland.
We have our Fatu. I said Fatu and I have our reservations about Donovan Mitchell.
But you're more vocal when you say I am over him.
Yeah, lately
you have, and it's fair.
Lately, but who's been more vocal? I think Romar been more vocal about Donovan Mitchell than me.
Well, because of the fact that
Romar never shows up.
Yeah, eight seasons in a row has never got out of the second round.
No, he hasn't.
And then, of course, you beat the tough-minded Knicks in the last round.
Okay.
So now remember, with OKC, best record all year long. Okay, you dispatched Timberwolves in 5 games. They were number 6. All right. Then the Nuggets, they were number 4, I believe it was, number 4 seed. And the first one was Memphis, was an 8 seed. They swept Memphis. They beat the Nuggets in 7. That was like the hardest one. And then Minnesota was in 5. So it was kind of sort of tough, but not as tough than Indiana had to go through. I thought Indiana, to me, was more battle tested the way they've been showing. And of course, they have won 10. The Pacers have won 10 games as being an underdog. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So they've been in underdogs in almost every game, after the first round. So, and it also proves to me is like, just because you're the top team in whatever sport doesn't necessarily mean you're going to finish as a champion. We've seen that happen already this year for several top teams throughout sports. Yeah, like the prime example, your favorite, Bill, Kansas City Chiefs. Look what happened to them.
How are they my favorite?
No, your favorite topic, because y'all curb stomped them. Yeah. Y'all curb.
I'll go along with that just for this.
I know.
Just for this conversation, I'll go along with that.
Because they were the number 1 team in the league, and look what happened to them. They got curb stomped. They also got the Lions. They were number 1 team in the NFC. Look what happened to them. They got curb stomped by the Washington Commanders. And then if you want to go back earlier than that, Duke is one of the top teams in the league. In college basketball, look what happened to that. They got, in Omar's words, Cooper Sag at the end.
Was that a choke job?
Yes, it was. They were up by, what was it, Omar? What were they, Hooters at night? They were up by 6 with about 24 seconds left, I think. Somewhere around that. They lost the lead, they lost the game. And the funniest part was,
you talking about Fluke University?
Yeah.
No, or they fluke now.
What the Fluke Blue Devils?
We now we're just getting disrespectful.
See, that's not me.
We just get disrespectful now. The Fluke Blue Devils.
See, I didn't create this. The thoughts and opinions can never reflect Studio W or any other human being alive. But yeah. But my point is, basically, just because you're the number 1 team in whatever sport you're in, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win. Yes, OKC's favored by 8.5, but the eye test have shown a lot of things different in the last few games.
Yeah, number one. The main thing is you can't judge the next game off the previous one.
No, you can't.
Not in the game 7.
Nope.
We can speculate a little bit, but let's keep it a bean. No. We all had this strong gut feeling that Tyrese Halliburton was going to tear his Achilles right off the bone the other night.
Man, that's all we've been hearing, and apparently the media has overblown it, or they did a really good job at proving us wrong.
I mean, we all thought like if they don't do it, they'll stay behind. If they don't score, it's it for him.
Even Mark,
if he plays, at first. It was to the point like if he even plays, we don't even feel sorry for him. We already know what it is, and that wasn't right. That wasn't right.
Or so we thought.
But who you got?
I'm going with Indy.
Yeah, we going with Indy.
I'm going Indy.
5-2. We all going with Indy.
Yeah.
So I want to steer this to another conversation.
Okay, go ahead.
Since we got Indy winning, this will be Rick Carlisle's second championship. What conversation does that put him in? He's got 2 rings. We laud about all these other coaches, how good they are. They only have 1. Or we rake them through the coals because they only have one.
Well, I have a better question for you. Now, to your point, when you actually threw out an interesting point, Mill, if OKC loses, let's say, you say it's a choke job.
Absolutely.
Okay. To add to your point, should the coach be on the hot seat?
I have a hard time firing a coach that make it to the finals or make it to the championship game. I feel like you make it that far and you fire him, that's just like a knee-jerk reaction. You mad because he couldn't get the job done. Nah, you should give him a chance to redeem himself. So no, well, I don't think the coach should be. I'm tired of these coaches making it to the playoffs and making it this far and getting fired when all these other coaches are trash and they still get to keep their jobs.
Well, we already seen several of them happening already within the last month and a half. The most mind-boggling one was Tibbs.
All of them was mind-boggling.
Well, it's several of them. Which one was worse? The one with Tibbs, the one with the Nuggets coach, or the one with Memphis?
Well, one just as bad as the other, because last time I checked, the Hornets ain't make the playoffs. I don't know how long. How long they had their coach?
I can't debate that.
The Jazz?
No.
Utah Jazz.
I'm not commenting on that.
You know, the Washington Wizards weren't all that good either. You know, how long that coach been there? I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, the Bulls. Their coach still there. Oh, but you fired Tibbs because he made it to the Western Conference Finals and they blew they blew game one. From what I'm hearing, nah.
Well, you actually blew the first two at home.
The players can't play for them no more, even though they made it further than they ever had in the past 25 years. Now all of a sudden the players tap out. And you make that. This is my question.
Yes.
This is the real question.
What's the question?
The city of Indiana was chanting O.B. Toppin's name. How did New York let him go? And why does that GM get to keep his job?
Leon Rose?
Yeah. How does he get to keep his job? You mortgage your future for Mikal Bridges, and Mikal Bridges didn't give you nothing. How? This team, and to be honest with you, this team was already there were really no issues with this team. Indiana might change next season. The East is wide open. Milwaukee's done. Boston's done. Only team you had to worry about was the Indiana Pacers. You got all your players under contract. Just run it back. That's all you do. Just run it back. It means now you paying Tom Thibodeau $30 million to sit at home.
And I was about to say, you just gave an extension about 9 months earlier.
Now you paying him to sit at home. Now you ain't got no coach.
Oh, not only that you don't have a coach, you've been getting denied by the coaches who are still employed. You got denied by the Mavericks coach. You got denied by Atlanta coach. You got denied by Houston coach.
Yeah, and shout out to eBay Udoka, man.
Oh yeah, and by the way,
largest contract for a coach in NBA history. Signed with the Houston Rockets. Yeah. That's why they said no. Nah, we finna get him the bag. He ain't finna go nowhere. And that
was a smart move.
I think that was just
that's a smart move for the Rockets to give him a bag. They done shocked a lot of us, including WB, that they ended up number 2 seed. Now, even though that they got bounced out of the first round, at least they sat back and they thought we accomplished a lot more than we thought we did. Now they have a chance to run it back, and your name is in talks to get a major superstar. So my next question is, where do you think KD is going to go?
I don't know. All right, we can rule out a couple of things. He already said he didn't want to be in New York, so we can rule that out.
All right. What about? I'm here in San Antonio.
San Antonio has the most to offer.
I'm here in Houston.
Houston is the most likely.
That's where my guess is going to be.
I think his preferred destination is Miami. And Miami does not have what it takes.
No, I don't see.
To make a trade.
Miami can't do much anything.
Miami, I mean, they don't have what it takes to make a trade to make a competitive offer on a trade.
Now you could be in an easier conference to go back east, but at the same time, I don't think they're going to progress that much because again, you got a lot of decent competition between Indiana and not only that. Oh, your other favorite topic. Speaking of Eastern Conference, your thoughts on the Orlando-Memphis trade with 4 players for one guy.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that one.
Memphis trade Desmond Bain to the Magic.
Yes.
For 4 draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
And Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I did some research on that one because that was baffling to me. I was like, I don't see how this makes either team better. And why are you trading all this for one guy? All right, you got to think of it like this. They needed Desmond Bain, and they were dumping Kentavious Caldwell-Pope's contract. So that's why the trade was like that, is because half of it was to bring Desmond Bain along. The other half of that trade was to dump KCP's contract. That was the only way they can get it done because KCP was gone. And nobody was going to trade for him with that contract. They was going to have to do that to get rid of him.
Wow. Because I couldn't figure out anything as to why. So, and then, Galloway had this conversation about this in the car, and Galloway was more confused than anything else. He was like, how is this happening while the season is going on? Usually it happens in the off season. Why is this going on while we are still in the finals?
Well, you got the draft next year. I mean,
next week, right?
Yeah. You got the draft coming up real soon, so they trying to set their roster as quick as possible and unload that money as soon as possible because it could be a very interesting scenario where Kevin Durant might not get traded until draft night. Now, can you imagine if Kevin Durant decided to go to Orlando? No. I take that back.
No.
Memphis, because Memphis is the one that got the draft picks, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Now Memphis has a chance to make a competitive offer. Because they got all that capital, all that real estate. So now they can make a competitive move for Kevin Durant. Now imagine Kevin Durant right next to Ja Morant.
Kevin
Durant and Ja Morant.
So think about it this way, WB. While you're here, what's your thoughts on the whole Memphis? And Memphis is your team, because of Ja Morant.
Yep.
Your thoughts on the Memphis Orlando trade? Please speak, please.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Now, but I've got a question though. Let's get back to KD though.
Okay.
Is he definitely out in Phoenix? He gonna leave?
Yes, he's definitely going.
He's going somewhere.
I'd like to see him in Memphis.
Now that makes that a reality. And it could happen tonight, to be honest with you.
I mean, it's
any day.
It could happen at any given point. It could happen during the show for a week.
And we'll be the first ones to talk about on KD going to Memphis because nobody else is talking about KD going to Memphis. Nobody.
I haven't heard anybody mention that. And I'm thinking I didn't see it coming But you know what? The funny, if I didn't learn anything else, we could throw all sorts of scenarios, and one of us will be right.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody in this room will be right. Whoever it could be.
Yeah, but I'm putting that out there. That is kind of, it's like KD to Memphis, because you got, and I wouldn't rule out Giannis being moved at some point in time. They're trying to keep that under wraps. Yeah.
So where do you think Giannis might be heading to?
That's a tough one. That's a real tough one. Giannis could end up going to San Antonio.
I've heard that was one of them.
Now I don't know how much Miami has in assets now, but I know they want to be competitive. And I know that Miami would be on a short list if Giannis wants to leave. How high Miami is up on that list, I can't tell you. But the opportunity will be there. Now I don't have no inside information. I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but the opportunity has presented itself for that to be there. For Giannis could go to Miami. Giannis could go to San Antonio. Giannis could go to Houston.
I was thinking of that too, the back of my mind.
Giannis to Houston was that'd be nasty.
And think about it this way: you both just got the bag, so that just presented something else. Like, okay, we have an opportunity to improve and whatnot, and actually, the expectations are going to be higher now that the coach has got the bag.
Yeah, and you need somebody that's gonna score the basket. They don't have no one that you can say, okay. They need somebody that's a walking bucket.
They don't have a true number one.
Yeah, they don't have a walking bucket. They need a walking bucket.
And KD is one of the best bucket getters in the league.
Yeah, so is Giannis. I don't think they're gonna miss out. They're gonna get one of them. I don't think they're gonna miss out on.
So can you see both of them getting traded? Or I know at least one. But do you see, would you go as far as saying both of them gonna get traded?
I want to say both of them gonna get traded. I just expect it's too quiet in here. I need more chaos.
Oh, don't worry.
It's too quiet, bro. I need more chaos. I need this thing to be a little bit more chaotic. So
the draft is what, Wednesday, right? Of next week?
Yeah.
Okay. So the draft night expects some chaos. Oh boy. You know what? And people are out there sitting there listening right now. You want chaos? They won't create something. Possibly a blockbuster monster trade that's going to be, not say earth-shattering. Oh, speaking of earth-shattering, your thoughts on the Lakers sale of $10 billion.
$10 billion. I love it. Now y'all know. Now you do know.
Yes.
That I have entered the NBA fanhood transfer portal.
Oh boy.
So this sale right here puts the Lakers on my short list.
Okay.
I have not made a decision yet. I don't know when I'm gonna make a decision, but I can tell you it's on my short list right now.
You just answered my question. All right.
LA's on my list. Miami's on my list. San Antonio's on my list. And right now, Memphis is on my list.
If you pick Miami, I can understand why. I was gonna put that for the record. I already know why. If that's the case.
What you talking about, Willie?
Yeah.
Yeah, Miami stays on the list. What? South Beach, baby. The Heat. He culture.
Yeah. And Pat Riley is still there.
Pat Riley. Bam Adebayo there. Tyler Hero. His last name is Hero.
Right.
He ain't say no days, but his last name is Hero.
But yeah, so that's going to create a lot of expectations.
Black and red. I
For
look
Luka.
good black and red. Look. The Studio W logo right behind us. That black and red and white look good.
Yep.
Even you can switch it to the white, the black and white.
Well, I mean, hey, you can make it work.
So why not Miami? So
Hey,
yeah,
I don't see anything wrong with it. I
they'll be
don't.
on the short list.
Hey, listen, I have no issues with whoever you, because they are contenders, the ones that you pick. And like I said, San Antonio, if they get the right player, they're like 1 or 2 pieces away from being a major problem.
Yeah, and see, this the thing. They don't have to be the best team in the league for me to jump on the bandwagon. They just got to have a plan for success that's intriguing enough. Take the Pacers, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody had the Pacers, when they didn't have them in the finals. Starting all this off.
No.
We had them in the playoffs. We knew they was going to take care of Milwaukee. But we figured they'll flame out right after that.
In the second round.
Second or third round. Yeah, we figured we'll flame all that.
You figure on paper they're going against Cleveland. We figured, okay, Donovan's going to finally show up, show out, which he tried because he did put up some 40 pieces.
Yeah, he showed up. The rest of the team
But
didn't.
the rest of the team. But the problem is, the media is going to throw the narrative. They don't look about any other role players. They just look at the star.
Yes.
And that's the sad reality is you can do superhuman things, but if nobody else shows up to help you, then what? Which is unfair, because you did more than your job. But if your supporting cast don't show up, they don't, and the sad thing, they don't even talk about Darius Garland or Evan Mobley or anyone else on there, Ty Jerome. You're not going to hear anything out of the others. Donovan Mitchell has been their franchise player, and that's the main one they're going to talk about until they get over the hump. Now, which reminds me, don't be surprised if Cleveland might be on the list for KD to go to.
Into the Cavs?
Think about it.
I don't know.
I mean, it's a long shot, but I would get rid of Garland to make it happen.
I don't know if you want to go to Cleveland. Cleveland is a place that need hostages, not volunteers. They're not getting no volunteers, so they need hostages. I don't think nobody wants to go to Cleveland, just like they ain't want to go to Milwaukee.
But you got decent pieces. You got DeAndre Hunter too.
You got decent pieces and all that, but the team is just not attractive. It's just not an attractive destination for free agents. That's the problem with the Bucks. I think the same thing with the Cleveland. All the time everybody want to go to Cleveland because LeBron was there. Donovan Mitchell ain't LeBron.
No, he's not.
So that's why I say I got a heart. And I don't think KD wants to put any kind of narrative out there that he's trying to follow in LeBron's footsteps. I think he never wants that narrative like, nah, since LeBron did it, I'm gonna do it. No, I don't think he wants that narrative. So I think he'll totally rule out a place like Cleveland. I think he'll rule out LA. But the irony is, if he goes to Miami, that narrative wouldn't persist. Ironically, because it'll be all about Pat Riley and Heat culture. If he goes to South Beach, does that make sense?
Well, I mean,
ironically,
you got the nightlife to attract, so it's a long shot, but I wouldn't be entirely surprised if it turns out that direction.
Yeah, because I mean, if he goes even though LeBron has won more championships in Miami than he has anywhere else, the narrative wouldn't be, oh, he's trying to follow in LeBron. No, he wants to go to South Beach.
Well, I mean, and just look at it from this point. Okay, you got Bam, you got Tyler,
Yeah, Duncan Robinson.
Yeah. What's that rookie? I forgot his name. I mean, he was doing pretty decent. So again, like I said, long shot, but not entirely surprised if it turns out that way.
So I got a question.
Yeah.
Giannis.
Yes.
Any rumors on him or anything?
We still trying to figure out where he's going to go, if he's going anywhere.
Question is, can you see him in Cleveland?
No.
Because of what he just said a minute ago,
Okay.
Cleveland is not
They're not an attractive destination.
an attractive destination.
I don't think even though Cleveland's the one seed, what Cleveland has on the table as far as what's on paper, I don't think a guy like Kevin Durant he's going to go there.
No, I'm a Giannis.
Giannis?
I'll tell you what. He go to Cleveland, they got a championship.
This the problem with that. I know this. Giannis going to Cleveland would mean they would have to gut that roster. Cleveland's gonna have to gut that roster. So it would be a situation where you have Giannis, Donovan Mitchell, and a couple of role players. They won't have a complete team. Now joining us right now, and I've been waiting a long time to hit. Well, I've been waiting an hour to hit it. As the boxing guru, Mr. Mark Daniels on. Hey Mark, how you doing, sir?
What's going on, brother? How's everybody?
Oh man, everything is everything. I was supposed to be on call this weekend, which I'm still on call, but we had caught a break, long story short. So I brought the guys in the studio because we're way better in the studio than we are remote. So we in here, we talking about the NBA finals. Me and Kevin going back and forth, talking about different scenarios. So I'm gonna give you the floor and you tell me what's going on Game 7 tomorrow night. We all got Indiana here.
I got Indiana. I just feel like the momentum's with Indiana. OKC, maybe they'll pull it off. I just don't see it happening.
You don't think that we feel well?
You know what? Here's my biggest problem.
Is it a clutch? Is it a clutch gene?
Well, here's the biggest problem I got is Mill. They quit in game 6. They quit by halftime. You in the NBA finals, man. You don't quit.
Remember I said hands in the middle of Game 7 on 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Because I know they did. They quit.
No, you go there. You're not going there. No, I mean it's. I feel like they quit in that game.
There was no hustle. There was no effort. There was no pressure.
Like they got punched in the mouth and they couldn't match their physicality.
Instead, they just wait for Indiana to miss shots.
I honestly,
and they didn't.
I like I said, I honestly feel like they quit.
I feel like they put it on the game to begin with because that was blood in the water. You got it. Your superstar is injured or hurt.
Yeah.
He's dealing with a strained calf, and you don't
take advantage of it.
You don't jump on that. I'd have been full court pressing. I'd have been in their grills, forcing Neesmith and Nembhard, forcing them into turnovers like we've been doing all series long. I would have turned it up. They dialed it back. And that I don't understand. That's the part of it that I don't understand. So with that, I agree with you, Mark. OKC should have finished. OKC should have finished that off. Don't play with your food, because now, you got Game 7 back in your house, but they got a ton of momentum,
and the pressure is on OKC. Now, again, they're favored by 8.5, but on paper, it doesn't mean anything. So we can throw all sorts of scenarios, and it could all come out wrong. But look, all my predictions went straight to the trash. Everything I was saying in playoffs was gone. So basically, all is just telling us, okay, whatever we thought was, you just throw it out the window. We got to sit there and watch. You
okay, Fatu?
Mm-hmm.
But
so give me some more. I threw this question out there. We will get back to it. We always talk about how good these coaches are, these NBA coaches. I want you to tell me, Indiana wins. This would be Rick Carlisle's second ring.
He's a Hall of Fame coach at that point. Yeah, well, he gets in the Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Fame coach. I think, to be honest with you, he's really there already, and I say that for a reason. He won a ring. As much as I like the guy I'm getting ready to say, he didn't, and he still got in, and that's Rick Adelman. So if Rick Adelman could get in, then Rick Carlisle's got to be there.
Wow. So, now what would be your strategy? If you were Indiana, Mark, what would your strategy be going into Game 7 tomorrow?
Be careful getting dumb fouls, physical up on them, and do the same thing you did Thursday night. Cut the turnovers. Quit the dumb turnovers.
Yes. That would be the main thing. That would be the main thing. Another thing Miller and I was talking about was when OKC, going into the finals, then they didn't do anything with the line. They changed the lineup in the first game, and that hurt them in the end. So that's another little key nugget you have to look at coming into the Game 7. So, if you're not starting the right people, something can go terribly wrong.
Yeah, I think that part of the puzzle been unraveled already.
Yeah,
because it's all about cohesion, consistency, and momentum. Now, you keep switching your lineup in the finals, that's a problem.
That's a recipe for disaster.
That because now you guys are not staying in rhythm. That's why I keep saying. That's why I said no. I wouldn't change starting lineup at all. Keep TJ McConnell and Obi Toppin on the bench because you do not want to disrupt that. Because now you be dealing with what OKC is now. They're not starting the same guys. All these guys can't get in the same rhythm because they're not playing the same. They're not doing this. They're not keeping their repetition. They keep switching for minutes and starting and coming off the bench. And people don't realize how big of an adjustment that is. You give TJ McConnell 10 more minutes, he's a whole different basketball player. What he gives you in 10 to 15 minutes, he can't give you when you give him 25 because he's exhausted. He's not used to playing that. Same thing with all these other guys. You keep switching your starting lineup. You're not winning a lot of basketball games.
And see, that's the importance of the bench, too. That's the importance of the bench.
Yeah,
because, like you said this before, Mill, that, if you got a deep bench, like 12, 13 people, you can plug and play whichever you want to do. And you can keep those minutes to whatever you're comfortable with. You see what I'm saying? So people who gotten more playing time than usual on game like Shepard, we ain't seen any of him, and then he hits a three. You know what I'm saying? But like if you get everybody into a rhythm, the whole team can get hot.
Yes, they can, and they will. All these is once Neesmith made those corner threes, it was off of Halliburton steal.
Yeah.
Halliburton chased the ball down, flips it to Siakam. Siakam flips it to Neesmith. Bang!
Oh yeah.
Ball did not touch the floor.
Oh, when you get stuff like that, when nothing gets, when the ball doesn't hit the floor, that's beautiful basketball. That's a lost art, actually.
Yes.
You know, that doesn't get talked about enough. It really don't.
Well, it's going to get talked about now.
Exactly, because we're the ones to do it.
All right, so Mark.
Yes, sir.
On the spot again, my brother. This is something that I've learned the hard way not to dispute you on. Well, one is later because we got to talk boxing before we go. But this one, where KD going?
I think he's going to Houston.
Bingo.
That's where he's going.
Yep.
And that was my guess too.
I'm not.
Now, if you want to hear a long shot, God, it's a long shot.
What's
But
that?
it would almost put him out to dry, and that would be Toronto.
Yeah, I heard Toronto.
Oh.
I've heard Toronto. They got the capital.
Here's the thing: at this point, you got to think about something, Kev. You got to think about something here. See, Phoenix don't really owe KD anything. It ain't like he didn't take them to the conference finals. Hell, I don't even know what round he got them into in the playoffs when he was there. He ain't done nothing spectacular. So they don't owe him anything. You see what I'm saying? If you want to know the truth, at this point, Phoenix is in a position where they got to look out for what's going to be best for them. The hell with KD. Whoever give us the best deal, that you going there. Now you go there. If they give you a buyout, whatever happens, that's your business. But we're going to do what we got to do for us. Okay. See, you know, KD. See, KD really screwed himself, and I'll tell you why. He should have stayed in Golden State. See, I think the thing people might forget, and I'm curious of this. When Golden State lost that finals to Toronto, and he was hurt. I wonder if that next year Brooklyn must have offered him. It must have been Brooklyn must have said, "Hey, we're gonna pay you this whole year, even though you ain't playing." And I wonder if Golden State said, "We ain't paying you this year." Well, I wonder how that worked, because he got free money for a whole year because of that Achilles injury. And I really wonder if that played a factor in him going to Brooklyn. I mean, I know he wanted to play with Kyrie, but I mean, there's nothing about Brooklyn that could have attracted me at all. I mean, I think that arena, the floor, the arena looks dark. There's nothing about that place I would like.
Yeah.
Mr. Derek Galloway.
Hey guys, appreciate you having me.
So that's just my opinion of it. Phoenix owes KD nothing. So whatever move they decide to make, he got to deal with it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Mr. Galloway, I'm gonna throw the same question. How you doing first, brother?
I'm cooling. Appreciate you having me. What's going on?
Thank you for just we jumping right on in. We talk about Kevin Durant, where he's going, and you heard what Mark said about him going to Houston, things of that nature. Give me your thoughts on that.
I heard some rumors about him being traded for Jabari and the other young guy, but I think Houston or either Phoenix rejected the offer. I think it would have been a great move for Phoenix to get those two young pups in there with Booker. I think it would have been a great move.
I think Derek is 100% right on that. Houston wanted to give up Jabari Smith, I think, and Jalen Green. And Phoenix doesn't want Jalen Green. Jalen Green screwed himself this past playoffs because his stock went from way up to just totally dropped. And I think what Phoenix would want instead of that is either Sengun and that other guy that they just drafted last year. Well, they ain't giving up Sengun. You can't do that. You might get 2 years, 3 years max out of KD. And you can't give up. That Sengun is really him and that Thompson guy. They're the face of the franchise now.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the way the GM for Houston is looking at it. Why would I want to give up 2 young guys for a guy that's, while he's still good, he's still a great player, but he's 37. You know, I'm only going to get maybe 3, maybe 4 years out of him tops. You know, I mean, are we looking to just win 1 championship and then start over? Because that's essentially what's going to happen, you know, after that KD run. Or are we going to stick with what we have and just – I think they just re-signed their coach yesterday for an extension, so they may just run it back the way it is. So.
Ime.
Yeah,
I love
think that's what Houston's looking at. Houston may look at maybe just adding a veteran without having to trade, you know, their young assets, which could be a great move. Really, the only threat that's going to come back next year in the West is, what is it, Minnesota, Denver, and OKC. So maybe the Lakers, depending on what the Lakers do, but.
I also heard the Wolves' name was mentioned too. Now you team him up with Ant-Man.
Well, Kevin Durant said he doesn't want to go to Minnesota. I think he already.
Oh, he doesn't want to go.
He does not want to go there. I could be wrong. But that's what came out.
Is there any chance that Denver shakes things up? Because if you ask me, Michael Porter Jr. got to go.
I think he's worn out his welcome.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with that dude. You drafted him knowing he had a messed up back. I understand he can shoot, but then like his second year in or something like that, you gave him like 180 million or something. Like what?
Yes.
And then
I think
then this playoffs coming. They talking about he can't raise his shoulder of his arm above his head or something. I'm like, well, why? This dude ain't been nothing but damaged goods since he been there.
He got a chip out of it.
Yeah, and I don't think they can go any. I don't think they can get any further with him on the play with him on the team. I don't think he can get any further.
I think the thing about it,
they just squeezed all the juice on that.
They did, and really, I think with losing, like I said, and I'll beat this to the dead horse till it goes, but losing KCP and that other guard they had, I think he went to like Brooklyn. I can't remember his name.
Oh, you talking about Bruce Brown? Bruce
Brown. Him and KCP were valuable pieces they let go, or either trade.
Hey, but you notice something, Galloway. Ever since Bruce Brown got traded away, this dude has bounced around, and I can't understand that because he's a good player. I'm like, was he a system dude, or what was going on? Because to me, he was one of the most valuable players Denver had.
Yeah.
I think it was more the system because KCP ain't left. I mean, KCP's being bounced around, but his game ain't left Denver either.
Yeah, and now the KCP is in Memphis.
Yeah.
Well, while we're on that subject, now to your logic, and Derek, we talked about this early in the week, and it's mind-boggling how you can have a trade of that magnitude while we're still in the finals. You know, you giving up 4 picks for Desmond Bain.
Well, that little short arm dude, I don't understand that for nothing. I mean,
horrible trade. Horrible.
Yes.
Trade.
Now, see, this is why I was telling Kevin earlier. The reason why that trade looks the way it is because Orlando is getting rid of KCP's contract. They are done with him. And it was the only way that they was going to unload his contract because they couldn't. Yeah, so half of those first round picks was to unload KCP's contract. The other half was for Desmond Bain. You gotta look at it that way because he was not gonna dress up for Orlando, and that was the only way they was gonna get rid of him. And they just willing to bite that bullet.
Yeah.
That's the only, and then really that's the only way that makes sense.
Well, here's a question, and this is something I'm confused about. I thought there was a trade deadline, right? Like, isn't there a trade deadline that happens during the season? Is the playoffs not considered the season anymore? I mean, I know it's probably not official.
Obviously,
We talked about it, but I didn't know you could make trades. The finals are still going on here, but that's a little weird to me.
I guess if your team ain't in the playoffs, your season's over.
Or at least wait till draft night. You know,
Right.
and draft night is next week.
And it could be.
Yeah.
Like
So
I said,
I want to.
Go ahead.
I think if you can't draft players as long as they in the play. I mean, you can't trade players as long as they're in the playoffs. But by the draft being so close to the end of the season, that only makes sense.
Yeah,
I think it's the timing.
I mean, you got to do that.
Well, I think
and almost you got to do it because you can't build a team within a week.
But I think the timing of it all threw everything off. Now, if the trade like this didn't happen till draft night, okay, cool. But the fact that it's happening, it happened already, and we still got a game going. What the distraction of it, you know, while we're in the finals, it's like, wait a minute, you know, that kind of like made you stop and like, hold on, what's going on? You know, and I mean, we all sitting there. Well, most of us sitting there looking confused. I was confused too when I saw Derek's text, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, okay, what's going on? Let's research this. You know, let's take a look at what's really happening behind the scenes. So,
yeah,
like I said, again,
a thing where it's just an announcement, but not taking place actually until the draft. But still, I mean. And it does happen.
I mean, I can understand. I can understand you being like perplexed. I said the timing of it, I think, threw everything off.
Yeah,
which is totally understand. I get it. I get it. Because the more you sit there, you marinate those things. Like, hold on, what? Yeah, but now, do you think Orlando is going to improve next year versus where they were sitting at this past season with Desmond Bane on the roster?
Honestly, I think Desmond is probably a more versatile scorer, but he's not a better defender.
Mm-hmm.
And the assets that were given up included with that could have been used in this draft. But in all honesty, I think Orlando was going to be a player no matter what. You know, what's his name? The guy from Duke that plays forward for them.
Yeah, Banchero,
and then you got the other guy. Yeah, those two guys are just monsters. I mean, they did need a boost.
Yeah, if you run the offense through them.
Yeah, they run the offense through them. They play off them. That'll work. Yeah, and having Bane's shooting ability will help. I think he's probably, like I said, a more consistent scorer than KCP. But like Mark said, with his short arms, I mean, who is he really locking down or defending? I mean, it's just not the sport to have short arms in, you know. So we'll see.
That's a good point. But you can make it to work. You can make it work to your advantage because if you got short arms, that means you should have a quicker release than everybody too.
Yeah.
So
but
you gotta make it work. You gotta make it work,
some kind of way.
Yeah.
Didn't Bane just get a big contract though?
Yes, he did. He got the contract Josh should have had.
Okay, so
which led me to believe that now Memphis has the draft capital to bring in a superstar, i.e. Giannis or Kevin Durant. But that's why I got to Mark saying Kevin Durant's going to Houston, and that the way how everything goes down, that would. And we already know it would have happened if Houston had the right, if they could have came to an agreement. So we'll see how that goes.
Now, wouldn't it be interesting if somehow, and I'm not expecting this, Ja Morant is traded somewhere? You know, do you think Memphis sees a long-term, you know what I'm saying, investment in Ja based on everything that's been happening in the last couple of years?
Well, if they don't, then where is
Where do you think Ja might end up? Because again, you want chaos. This will be a chaotic move. This will be something unexpected. Like, wait a minute, Ja's getting traded to so and so.
Yeah, but the bigger question is now is where Ja's going, but who's coming to Memphis? Because if Ja gone, who's in Memphis?
They still have the center.
Nobody.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about the dude from Purdue. I know exactly.
Not him. The other center.
Nah.
The other center. The one that is it Jalen Jackson or Jaren Jackson?
Jared Jackson Jr.
Triple J.
Yeah, Triple J. Yeah,
Nah, that ain't enough. Nah.
No, I'm not saying that's gonna
Nah.
work, but if they do happen to get rid of Ja Morant, you can best believe the rest of the roster is open for sale. I mean, they're open for business to kind of restart. Because and here's the thing: if they do give up Ja, he's not going to any team in the West. I wouldn't believe so. If you're gonna get rid of a talent like that, you send him over to the East. You don't put him in. You don't want to face him to get to the finals, is what I'm saying. So I could see him possibly going somewhere like Orlando would have been a perfect spot for him to go to. Maybe even gosh, what's the other team over there in the East that need a guard?
I'd like to see
Boston.
I was thinking Miami.
Boston could use him if they give up
I
on
don't
the other guard. What's the lockdown guard they got for Boston?
Oh,
Drew
Holiday.
Yeah, they give up on Holiday.
I think Drew's staying. I think Drew's staying because what's my guy's name? He's gone.
Talk about
what's the other Derek White? No, Derek White's gone.
Hold up, what? What do you mean? Did he get traded?
Nah, I think it's his contract.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, he about to get a bag.
Yeah, he's a.
You know what? It's crazy. Something crazy is going to go down next Wednesday. I don't know what it is. You might get your wish mail, and I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know where it's coming from, but something's going to happen in which there's going to be a monster trade of some sort that nobody saw coming. That's something we did not discuss previously. It's coming out of nowhere. I just have this weird feeling.
That usually happens when there's new ownership taking over, and I think two teams have been sold in the last 6 months, so very possible.
Oh yeah. So your thoughts on the Lakers $10 billion sale? I'm glad you brought that up, Derek. What are your thoughts on that one? I know we talked briefly about that.
Changes are coming, and I would not be surprised if a splash comes with that, whether it's through free agency or through the draft. So they're going to have to find someone to sit with Luka, and they know that LeBron's time is winding up here. So you got to give him a dance partner, somebody that can rim run for him as a center, an athletic center, or another
It's going to be a lot of things different.
shooter that can just surround Luka with.
What do you say? Say it again. Say the last part again, Derek.
Surrounding Luka with a dance partner, either athletic rim running center, that he had in Dallas. He had a couple of those, or another guard that can score, because they realize that LeBron's, got maybe 1-2 years max left in him. That they're probably.
You know what? I just thought of something very interesting. It would not surprise me. You said that key word you said was dance partner.
Yeah.
Partner was a key word because remember, now he's got Finney Smith up in LA too. Now, and you need a center. What would if I told you that if either Lively or Gafford is going to leave it to go to LA?
it would more than likely be Gafford because he's older. I don't think they would give up on the younger guy.
They're not gonna give him a Derek Lively.
Yeah,
I'll say Gafford too.
I would say that would be interesting because you may be on to something, Jack, with this proposition. Now, again, if you bring out a possible difference maker, Gafford would probably be a possibility. I would not be surprised if that comes to fruition.
But this is what I think. This is what everybody's missing on this, though. This is what everybody's missing. The Lakers just got sold for $10 billion to the guy that owns the LA Dodgers. See, this is the part everybody missing. See, Luka's on watch now because see this new owner. See, he ain't got no allegiance to Luka at all. And see, let him come in out of shape. Let him come in with all that different BS. This dude ain't afraid to shake it up. I know a lot of people don't follow the Dodgers, but hey, they the same team that gave up Cody Bellinger, who was the MVP, World Series, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Dude didn't come in the right way. He said, I want to show you how this works. Next man up. And so there's a lot on the line here that people don't see that in reality can happen, and it can really create some serious situations.
Since we're talking about the Lakers, did I miss out on the LeBron ring talk thing earlier?
Who cares? I mean, I'm not with you. I'm just saying with LeBron. I mean,
we haven't really officially discussed that part, but I think Mark already brought it home.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, Mark, continue. Go ahead. I gotta hear this.
No, I just think that if Luka doesn't come in, let him come in out of shape, all that different BS, I'm telling you now, he's going to be gone. This dude ain't afraid to pull the trigger. Jeannie Buss, a loyal person, great person, sucked as an owner.
I agree with you on that part, and I'll raise you one and say that if not only Luka's probably on the line, but Pelinka,
without a doubt,
yeah.
Because see, let him not make the right move, and we'll have a new GM real soon.
Absolutely.
I mean, this dude don't play. I'm telling you, this people get ready to see a difference. This dude is all about making his money. He's all about winning.
Do the Lakers have a draft pick this year?
Nope, I don't think so in the first round. If it is, it's late.
He's got to hit. Yeah, Pelinka's got to hit on his draft. If he has a draft pick, he has to hit on it.
Well, he's still got that's still sitting there from last year.
But you know what? He's going to be trade bait. And here's the thing.
I know.
There's two people on the line here. You said it, Galloway. There ain't only Luka Doncic. Hey, Rob Pelinka's on the line now. There ain't no loyalty to this cat. Kurt Rambis and his wife and all them, get out. This dude don't care. The only person that can have some the only person that's got some input to the only person that's got some input to a point right now would be Magic. And he only gets so much string because hell, he sucked at it himself. So trust me, this dude is not going to play.
I love it. That's why they on my
good job with the Dodgers.
And hey, unless he takes the New York job, there's a big possibility if the Lakers start off wrong, and if he ain't got a job by the start of the season, don't be surprised if Mike Malone ain't in there at LA.
So you're not only saying Pelinka
next season.
But
you gotta remember, this dude ain't got no allegiance to none of these cats.
So JJ Redick better be on his P's and Q's. They go as far as they might get rid of LeBron too.
They won't get rid of him, but they'll let him know they wouldn't get rid of him like that. But I think that exactly. As far as Bronny and all that, you better show out in the summer or something because your job won't be there either.
Yes,
This dude doesn't play.
no, he don't, and that's that's what makes it intriguing. He's got a lot of money. They.
And their first pick is in the second round, and it's 55th.
Oh wow!
Or was it?
Oh, they got an uphill battle. So they like ducks in the pond right now. They may act like they cool, but them legs are swimming under that water.
Yeah, they got a lot of work to do because I don't think the center that they had last year is coming back. I think a couple of those players that are on the team, like I said, Dalton Connect may be gone, and a few others may be gone as well. They really need to get some wing defenders on the wing because when you have Luka on the team who could barely cover a cone, on the court, you got to have people behind him, who you can funnel the driver to. Like Luka, he can't shuffle his feet that well, so he always would allow the defender to get past him and go right to those 2 7-footers behind him in Dallas. You don't have that in LA, so they need to get that, or get him some help on the wings that could, like I said, KCP would have been a very good pickup, or another, wing defender like Dorian Smith. But they need to get more of that because LeBron can't do that, for 82 games. Luka can't do it for 1 game. So it'll be interesting to see who they pick up.
All right, so keeping it with guys that's on the move. Jaylen Brown for the Celtics. Yeah, I think he's going anywhere.
Ooh, could I go first on this?
Yeah, go ahead, Derek.
I initially, when the playoffs were still around with Boston still in it, I initially thought Jaylen Brown was gone. Like, it's hard to be able to afford his and Tatum's contract at the same time with new ownership coming in, who more than likely is going to want to avoid that, that new tax that they have, right? But now that Tatum is out for the season, and possibly the guy that Mill was just talking about is possibly gone, and maybe even, the guard, they may keep him because Tatum is not going to play maybe this year or maybe not until All-Star, after the All-Star break. So who would be their go-to guy? So I say maybe Boston keeps him now and probably gets rid of Porzingis, maybe gone instead because he can't stay healthy. Or like I was saying about the other guy. Yeah.
Because I already know because Derek White's contract is up. I think he's about to hit the free agent market. He's going to get a bag going somewhere.
And that would offset, the hit for Brown's contract and Tatum at the same time. Because you can't get rid of both of them. Because you're not going to be able to sell tickets or have a season, basically. So, with Tatum out, like I said, what did he tear his AC? He tore his Achilles, right? He's probably not coming back until, like I said, after February sometime, if that.
Yeah, if that. I'll lean closer to the latter. I don't think he'll be back at all next season. Because especially how late in the season he tore it.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So I just don't see that. And it's unfortunate because this with him, because he was balling right before it happened.
Yeah.
He was having a game.
Oh, he had 42 at the time.
He was having a game.
Yeah.
Now, if it wasn't for the injury, they're probably in the finals right now.
Yes.
More than likely.
Yes.
Well, and that's the point I'm trying to make is that if Tatum was still healthy, I think they keep Derek White and possibly let go of Porzingis and Brown, and kind of fill in those spots with, people either off the bench or free agents or draft picks. But now that Tatum is hurt, you're going to have to offset that money some other way by letting either White go, the guard go, or Brown goes, But I think they keep Brown. You got to have a superstar, somewhere on that team.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know it was a report somewhere that said there's no way in a world. I mean, Derek White going to demand a contract extension. That's just not going to fit Boston.
Yeah.
So there was just no way that he was just going to stay. Now unless he want to sign for the vet minimum, and the way he's been performing over the last few seasons, there's no way he'd be a daggone fool to do something like that.
But here's the question, Mil. Does he fit somewhere else, or does he fall off like Bruce Brown does and KCP did because of the system? He's not going to be playing in that open run and gun offense in Boston no more, right? So will he be able to navigate and play somewhere else where they actually run a system? You know, that's not what Boston does.
Well, I can't really say that, but if I was him, that's a dice you got to roll.
Yeah.
Now certain systems, I would think he would like keep it a buck, pun intended. I think he would fit Milwaukee.
Yes, he would. Oh, they would love to have him.
I honestly would.
You know,
Get rid of Kyle Kuzma's side behind.
I know he would fit in like a puzzle piece perfectly in there.
But would he want to go to Milwaukee?
Yeah, another piece he could fit in perfectly. Two places. That system they run in Golden State would fit him perfectly, and maybe even Miami Heat. Maybe.
I think Miami will offer him the most money.
Yeah.
Out of those three,
the question is, would he want?
I think Miami will offer him the most money.
The thing is, with players, players today, would they want to go play for Pat Riley after the stories that have come out this year and the last couple of years about Pat Riley and how rigid and strict he is? He does that to Shaq and Dwayne Wade and LeBron and Jimmy Butler. It's so many superstars that are just butting heads with Pat Riley because Pat is stuck in his ways of you're going to do it my way or the 80s way or the 70s way or get out. And I don't know if it's actually a destination where free agents want to go now because of that. You're taking a man's cookies away on the bus or the plane. You're taking away the snacks because they lost the game. Like, I don't know. Maybe the game's probably passed Pat by. Maybe he can't relate to today's players. But if I were Miami, I would think about talking about, hey, Pat, let's sit down and have you step down because it's probably doing more harm than good. Just looking at the way Dwayne Wade should have never been forced out of Miami. Shaq should have never been kicked out like that. Like the way him and Jimmy Butler butted heads, that was horrible. It's just too, I don't know, too old school probably.
I can agree with that. But is that something there?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But what kind of culture he left from though? How was the culture in Boston? Because I don't think they was all footloose and fancy free either.
Maybe not, but I don't think they had a vampire Draconian type rulership over them like they do in Miami. I mean, Miami is the place of distraction. And I get what Pat Riley's trying to do, but the way he goes about it, these are grown men. This isn't college, or high school. You got to loosen the rope a little bit. You can't treat them like they're on a scholarship. These grown men making millions of dollars. And at the bottom line is, if the ownership sees that Pat Riley is the distraction, or eventually gets to that point, and he's running our superstars away, which eventually will cost me viewerships and fans buying tickets to come to the game. At some point, I got to sit down with Pat and go, hey, players aren't wanting to come here.
Yeah, but
fans aren't wanting to come into the game. It's affecting my bottom dollar, bottom line here. We're not winning. We're not getting out the we're not getting out the first round anymore. Like
we're not winning no basketball games.
Right. Were they even competitive
we're
in
not
the first
even
round?
We're playing. We're not playoff. We're a playing team at best.
Yeah.
You doing all this and we're a playing team.
Right. I mean, I could see if it was
can't
like
happen.
Yeah, exactly. So at some point, I wouldn't be surprised if free agents that decide not to go there, like we got an opportunity to get Giannis. He turns it down. We got an opportunity to get Kevin Durant. He turns it down. We got an opportunity to get these other players. And they're all turning it down. And it comes back to one particular, president or CEO, whomever, whatever title he has. It comes back to that. I mean, what are we doing this for if we're not even winning games? It's time to go ahead and hit that retirement chair. So that's
you said something. You said something interesting earlier. I'm trying to get back to it. Do you think there'll be a lot of trades coming up? Or just a little bit?
I think there will be enough because of how wide open the NBA will be. Like I said, there will be no threat of Boston in the East. Denver's star has kind of faded a little bit with the allure of that team. They've lost a couple of players. Westbrook is now gone as well. I think Westbrook, what did he opted out, right?
Yeah, he'd be a free agent.
Right. He opted out. The head coach for Denver is gone. You got Minnesota still in flux because they don't know what they want to do as far as how to handle their situation of their players, so to speak. I mean, the West is in a flux, basically. You just got OKC and you got whatever's left in the East right now. So every team out there is looking like we can have a chance. There is no definite Curry. There is no definite LeBron. There is no definite. Those players are getting older now, so their window is opening up for other teams to make a run. Yeah, I think there could be a flurry of trades and drafts or surprise free agent signings. Yeah, I absolutely do.
Dumbass bitch.
Wow. All right.
Not Marcus.
Speaking of, anybody going? Anybody? Do you think anybody's leaving the Clippers? Paul George and Kawhi. Do you think they're gonna break that duo up?
In my opinion, they should. I mean, I think they should do it. They need to. But no, not Paul George. James Harden, and
I mean, yeah, James Harden
and Powell. That guy Powell is very underrated. He doesn't get much publicity that he should, and he should have been an all-star this year.
Right.
I'm not sure of his contract, but I wouldn't be surprised if he moved on and decided to go on to another type of contender, whether it's in the East or somewhere on another team here in the West. But in my opinion, Clippers should have been broken up a couple of years ago, but they're going to try to make another run probably. I just don't have any faith in James Harden. I really don't come playoff time. Regular season, he's a monster. Playoff time, you can't count on the
guy. So we got 20 minutes left in the show. Hey, I gotta switch gears a little bit real quick. We can get back to NBA in a little while, but I gotta ask you guys. I did want to get a little bit of boxing in, and I I saw a head. I didn't read the article. I did not read the article, but I saw a headline that said for this Canelo Bud Crawford fight, these guys are getting a knockout bonus.
Yes, that showed up to yesterday when the question was, because of so many fighters in the last few big fights during Riyadh season, fighters have been running.
Yeah.
Specifically ones that fight Canelo or the other ones that were in the middleweight class. I think they were like very boring when they had it a couple of weeks ago in New York City. And they said, what are you going to do to combat that? And I think the Prince mentioned that he's offering a bonus for a knockout. So there will be no running and ducking. They're going to fight head on, which in a sense is exciting for us, but also in a sense it's dangerous for the boxers because now there's no sweet science to it. It's like they're going to stand in the middle of the ring trying to knock each other's heads off. I mean, that's what we pay for. We pay for entertainment. That's what they do. They're entertainers. But I really think this is going to be dangerous for Terrence Crawford to stand there toe-to-toe with Canelo. I hope he wins and doesn't try to chase the knockout, but I think he's a better boxer than Canelo. But to stand there and try to trade punches with him in the middle of the ring may not be the wisest thing to do, so to speak.
What do you say, Mark?
I think, this dude is this guy over this Turkey Al-Sheikh. I think he's tired. I don't blame him. That William Skull Canelo fight was horrible. But you expect people to sit up and pay $80, $90, $100 for it on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my opinion, I don't think it's going to change as far as, how can I put it? It's not going to change the type of fighters are. What it's going to do is put people in a position to where they got to perform. And if you ain't a knockout fighter, you win, you just don't get a bonus. But I mean, if you're a knockout fighter, it's a little more incentive.
It is.
It's a thing where these fights have been horrible. To where if boxing is not careful, they can really see themselves on the outside looking in on a lot of things.
Losing out on bigger contracts because, I mean, Shakur Stevenson, the last 3, 4, 5 fights of his have been, and I love the way he boxes, but his fights have been really stale. Not just him, but I think Teofimo had a couple boring fights, and then you had what's the young guy that lost to gosh, I can't think of his name. The guy with the dad that trains him.
Devin Haney. Boring fights. I mean, they're just terrible. You only throwing 86 punches per fight. I mean, that's terrible. What are you doing for 10, 12 rounds? 86 punches? They had to do something.
Were they throwing punches?
That's what I'm saying. Like, were they clinching? Were they just posturing? Were they, just fainting the whole time? What are you doing? 86 punches in 10, 12 rounds is terrible. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's like fans are ready to sit there and boo after round 3 if they don't see any action. And it's going to affect the bottom line because, like Mark said, people are not going to pay for this stuff anymore. And which may have been one of the reasons why this Canelo Crawford fight may have moved over to Netflix. I could be wrong, but I'm going to definitely tune in now that it's on Netflix as opposed to paying for it on pay-per-view.
Yeah, because I ain't got 90. I'm gonna keep it a bang. I ain't got 90. I got 14. I got 14 with no ads. I got you on that. I ain't got 90.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little. And that 14 gonna last me a month. That's 90 for one night. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And granted,
talking about good time, long time.
You get to fight, the undercards and all of that stuff, but a lot of times you don't even know I wouldn't know every single fighter on the undercard. Yeah, sometimes they give you good fights and things like that, but you wait until the main attraction. You sat there and waited 3-4 hours to get to that main attraction, and then it gets there, and then it's a dub. And that's a bummer.
And
it's like I wasted that $90.
And it's past midnight. You're already sleepy.
Right. I got
you
church in the morning.
To get over this so you can go to bed.
I'm trying to get to bed so I can get up to get the benediction in the morning on Sunday. You know, like
yeah. No, that's the only thing. I'm like, it's just an awful. I mean, you want to step, you want to miss all the action, but you just cannot wait for it to be over because number one, you're already ready to go to bed.
Yeah.
And number two, you gotta get into bed.
Right.
And especially if you gotta drive home. Oh,
yeah.
That is the absolute worst. That is the absolute worst. That's why I can't. Yeah, I do 14. I ain't doing that. Nah.
And you know what? That may be the future of bigger prize fights going forward. I don't want to say all Netflix, but it could be Amazon Prime. Similar to what football is doing now. And my dad hates this because my dad's in his late 70s. He doesn't want to pay for these streaming apps that he's missing out on these football games. I think they got more now, this year. What is it? YouTube and Amazon and Hulu and that's just terrible for the basic fan.
Yeah, they muddied the water so bad with this, and that's on these pros. That's on the NFL. That's on Does Major League Baseball have an issue?
No.
Well, the thing is, I don't really think that they need it. They didn't need it because they got these TV contracts, right? So what did you need this Amazon and Netflix money for? I mean, now they're putting games on Christmas Day on Netflix and Amazon, and I mean, people look forward to those Thanksgiving and Christmas and Sunday nights. Now they're all on Amazon now. That's horrible. You didn't need to do it, but sometimes when greed is involved, you kind of get beside yourself.
All right, so
one thing
any other box?
Huh?
Go ahead, Derek.
Oh, I was just gonna rant more about the Netflix thing. I'm done. All right, as far as boxing, I really would have loved to see that Teofimo boots, like if they're gonna ever put that together. I hope they do at some point, but I don't know if it's gonna happen. Teofimo seems like to be self-destructing over there. I don't know what he's doing. What do you think he's doing, Mark? Is he crazy or is he actually got a plan?
I think he's mentally unstable.
Okay, me too.
I think somewhere he's mentally unstable.
I think it. And check me if I'm wrong on this, but I think his relationship with his father may have something to do with this. I don't know if you
it has a big part to do. I think it plays a big part in it. Just like with Devin Haney, it has a big part to play in it. When these guys get to having their dads train them, manage them all, a lot of times it ends up being a mess.
Yeah.
It ends up being a mess.
I think that the way I see the energy between him and his father, and I'm talking about Teofimo, they look like they don't like each other. I mean, but can't be in the same room together. They don't give off like I love you type vibes. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. It's a love-hate thing to me.
Yeah. That's all I had on boxing.
All right.
Yeah.
Anybody we gonna tune in and watch Jake Paul against Cesar Chavez?
When is it?
It is June 28th.
Oh, next week.
Are you telling me that's pay-per-view?
It's on. It's on DAZN.
Yeah, it'll be that's another idiotic thing to watch, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's it for the month of July. In July on Netflix, got Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano That's for the junior middleweight championship.
But that's gonna be a good. That's gonna be a good fight, though.
The next day, Shakur Stevenson goes against William Zepeda.
We'll see how that works.
He needs a good win to put on to notch under his belt. Because like I said, this last 3, 4, 5 fights have been real boring.
Now check this out. July 19th in Las Vegas, Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios. 12 rounds for Barrios WBC welterweight title.
That's amazing how a dude ain't fought in 4 or 5 years, but he automatically gets a title fight. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Somebody should be investigated for putting him in that ring again, man. I mean,
well, believe it or not, Manny needs the money.
Yeah, I get it, but does he think, well, does someone around him love him enough to think about his long-term health? Because
no, but the government of the Philippines love him enough to say, go out there and make that money because we need it back here.
Yeah, that's sad. I just don't want to see
my thing is
like Holyfield did. You know, remember how Holyfield?
Well, hey, you know what? They spend it as quick as they get it.
I can't train nobody else to be a successor.
You got to
train nobody else. He ain't got a kid coming up.
No, you know, hey, running for governor, singing, playing basketball, ain't none of that worked out for him.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It's sad. It's sad to watch, man. It really is. I just don't want him ending up. Mark, do you remember that guy, James Lights Out Tony? Remember him?
Oh, I remember him.
Okay. Have you seen him talk lately?
Oh, I remember. Nah, I haven't seen him talk, but I remember him trying to step in I remember him trying to step in the octagon and got the brakes beat off of him.
Yeah, that's the thing. YouTube and try to see if you can find a clip of him trying to talk. He cannot put a coherent sentence together without slurring or sounding like he's drooling. That's the thing I'd rather not see boxers do anymore, which is what I applaud, Floyd for getting out, got his money, got his business, got his things together, and got out. Like, I don't want to see people like what is his name? Muhammad Ali get the Parkinson's disease. I don't want to see that, man. I don't. I mean, as much as I'd love to see Tyson, I don't want to see Tyson getting hit and stuff. He can't defend himself. You don't want to look at your heroes like that. Not heroes, but people you grew up watching. It's just someone should be there. There should be some type of board of governors to say enough is enough. This guy's like 50 years old. He shouldn't be fighting a 30-year-old, a 20-year-old boxer. You got to protect them guys from themselves sometimes.
Yeah, just like right now, we're watching UFC and Curtis Blades versus Kuniev, and Blades is getting the brakes beat off of him. I know he's ranked number 5 in the world, but man, is he getting busted up?
Like, okay, all right, take it to your world with wrestling. Would you today want to see Ric Flair get back in that ring?
Absolutely not.
Hell
man. Do I have to break down a list of wrestlers I don't want to see get in the ring ever again? I don't want to see I don't want to see Goldberg.
Yeah. Have you seen his body? Did you see the body transformation of him? Yeah, he. I don't know what happened to him. He looks like a
walking ligament tear.
This happens when you're not on steroids.
He look like he about to tell something any minute. Any step, he about to break something. No.
This is probably the worst match on the card.
I don't want to see Nikki Bella.
Oh, why was she there?
Nah, I think they're making another run. We're gonna have more. I'm gonna actually anything involving that. I want to get the wrestling guru on next week.
We got to. Oh, and there's a pay-per-view on next week too.
Yes, I'm gonna try to get. We'll try to get in the studio at 2 next week or 2:30. And we gotta give a half hour to wrestling.
Yeah.
We got to get that. I'm gonna get that done. I'm gonna get that done because we in the studio next week.
Yep.
Yeah, but to answer you, yeah, I got a ton. I got a list. I got a list of wrestlers, and they not in the WWE per se, but they still wrestle. I think they still is. Like, I don't know if Edge and Christian still wrestling, but them two need to hang it up also.
Yeah, they're in AEW. Last I remember.
Yeah, I don't want to see Chris Jericho. He need to stop.
Yeah, AEW.
What's the cup? It's a Natty.
What?
Natty, Natalia Neihart. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I know who she is, but I was like, what? Well.
Yeah, just nothing against them.
I know.
There's nothing that they can do at this point that'll take away from their legacy. And number one on the list, I'm saying this because I love them. And not right now, but after this run, I hope this is it for him.
Who is that?
That's R-Truth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I hope R-Truth. Yeah, I hope R-Truth gets a title opportunity, wins the world title, have a nice little run, whatever, like Jey Uso did. Nice little 2-month run.
And then they'll screw him over about what?
Yeah, but this is why he's doing that, because he got screwed over. He's got to make that recoup that money. You know, so. I agree with you.
So I hope,
but I understand why.
Yeah, just so he can have world champion to his legacy,
right?
You know, just so he can have that on the resume. That's why I want R-Truth to win the world title. I don't know if it's gonna happen. Like I said, I'm gonna recoup my sources. I'm gonna get the wrestling guru on. We gonna chop it up about that. But that's on the wish list. But yeah, R-Truth he's on the short list of guys that, you know, that's close to the end of their career than it is the beginning.
And the booking has to be a lot better than what we're seeing. The booking has been trashed.
Don't get me started with the booking.
The booking has been trashed. Let's just keep it that way.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I hate to say this, but I'm not. I'm gonna leave this alone. I'm gonna put a pin and rest. We'll get back to that later.
We'll talk about that on.
All right. So Derek, before we about to head up on out here. Before we get out here, everybody on the panel here, everybody here at Studio W has OKC in a choke job. We got OKC choking this finals, the NBA and Indiana Pacers winning the title. Who you got?
I'll give you both sides of the coin and the reasons why. I say Indiana wins it if Halliburton gets another one of those Toradol shots, you know, that allows him to play. If he gets a shot and he comes out in the first half on fire, energetic, I see Indiana winning hands down. If Halliburton comes out and he's like into disappear mode where he's Casper the Ghost, you don't even hear from him, you know, where he's like 0 for 12 or 1 for 13, don't hear from him, OKC is going to run away. And it really, really, really depends on the third option for OKC. If Chet Holmgren shows up, Indiana could be in trouble. Because if Chet disappears again, goes on the back of a milk carton again like he did the last 2 games, it's Indiana. But Chet's got to show up for OKC to have a chance.
Yeah, we're going to see if Chet makes it that far. We're going to see if Chet.
Well, either way, he needs to be in the weight room.
We're going to see if Miles Turner put that shoulder in his chest again. That we see now that's what takes him out the game. You put that shoulder in his chest, he can't do nothing.
Is an X factor too. That's another one you got to watch.
Yeah, you missed that part earlier. I said, look, Miles Turner had a fantastic game. He only scored 3 points, but he did the one. He had one job: nullify Chet Holmgren. He took Chet Holmgren out too.
It only took him a month to show up, but he finally did. So good on him.
Keep that shoulder in his chest. You had that man missing dunks and everything.
Yeah, he did.
Keep that shoulder in his chest for one more game.
And watch for the referee's calls. towards
Well,
the
that's
end.
the thing. They're in OKC, so it could be favorable towards
Right.
OKC.
But see, the thing is, bro, I still stay aggressive because Indiana has proven that they have the better bench.
Yeah.
So if they get in the foul trouble, so I send these guys to the free throw line, whatever. It's the last game of the season. Balls to the wall.
It's gonna
No
be
different.
everybody's gonna have their eyes on the game, man. It's gonna be a highly anticipated game Sunday night. So he said balls to the wall. Yeah, Kevin.
Play lights out. You got one more game for all the marbles.
Yep.
and that's my point.
Give me an advantage. Give me advantage, Indiana, in a close game.
Oh man.
Close.
I agree.
I feel like they're more cut.
If Halliburton's feeling the way he felt the other night, being able to run up and down the court like that with no problem, and he got that shot, that what Romar said, a Grant Hill shot, then I could see Indiana pulling away.
If Halliburton scores 20 or more, they'll win. Halliburton scores 20 or more, they win.
Yeah, because Indiana made a great adjustment. If you were really paying attention to it, whenever, and you notice SGA, whenever he drove, they doubled him immediately to get it to someone else.
Yeah.
Same thing with William. When he tried to drive, doubled immediately. And they didn't have a third person they could swing the ball to that could actually get a bucket for them, which is why I said Chet has got to be huge for them. He's got to be huge. If he doesn't show up, they're going to run that same game plan again to get the ball out of their hands, make somebody else beat them. So they better come up with an adjustment.
All right, guys, we got to get out here. Until next week, I'd like to thank everybody for joining me. Roma Fatu, Kevin freaking Harris, DG Derek Galway, appreciate you, brother. The box guru, Mr. Mark Dames. Thank you all for joining us. Next week, we'll be on at 2:30. I'm gonna try to get the rest of the guru, Ms. Krishan Freeman, to join us so we can talk about the rest of the pay-per-view coming up, Night of Champions, and we're gonna have the fallout for the NBA Finals going into the NBA draft, and we might get some football in.
Oh yeah.
Thank you all for joining us. As always, I'll see y'all in church tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Peace.